Today on the Are Not Outliers podcast, we talk about what it's like to take your first major label deal and what it's like coming out the other side independent again. And at the very end of the episode, somebody gets their toes painted.
And sucked. I'm PmBata, singer, songwriter, rapper, producer as well. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, 816. Stand up, let's go. But yeah, basically I make music and I've been doing that since I was like 10. I mean, there's YouTube videos up. Actually, did I ever show you that?
No.
Dude, I'm like 11 years old rapping about McDonald's or some shit, bro.
That's you.
Oh my, I've been doing that for a long time. I was really bad because I was little, you know? And then one day I got better. Then I started doing TikToks. I'm at McLean. And then I did some more songs. Then I did a song with a Minecraft YouTuber named Dream. And then I basically got signed to a record label after that. Then a publisher. And then I did that dance for about 2 years. And then I just left. And now, I was about to say I'm figuring it out independently, but I already got it figured out.
Yeah,
like,
boy.
I had it figured out when I was on the label.
Yes, sir.
It's just, you know, a lot of red tape. Anyways, now that's where I'm at. I went on a hike this morning. What did you guys do?
Probably not that.
Probably not going on a hike. I bet you're like sitting down somewhere, maybe in the car or somewhere. You're probably listening to something right now. I bet.
Stand up.
Maybe you're watching something right now on your screen. And we appreciate that actually, so.
All right, Beta boy, let's get right into the meat of it. Pause. Holy shit.
No pause. I'm ready.
Shit.
Let me give you some protein, bro.
Okay, so I don't want to assume anything, but I feel like I do remember in some of our conversations previous to this, as you were coming up and you first started making music, I think as like a lot of people do, and not that there's like anything with it, but a lot of people are, their end goal of success is like, oh, like if I get signed, then that's like I made it. You know what I mean? And like you wanted to get signed from like the beginning of starting making music initially,
Yes.
right? So as like somebody who's seen both sides of just what a label can do for you, whatever, and then what actually happens, do you think that labels are like forever an impractical thing, or do you think there's a perfect scenario where it is beneficial for somebody?
Yeah, I mean, you also got to understand it's not the same as it was in 2012, you know? The industry, because of technology and all that, like it changed a lot, like with TikTok and everything. And I mean, even before TikTok, when the SoundCloud era was happening, that was like when stuff started to shift. I think now as a small artist, it's entirely pointless to sign to, maybe not, let's say 95% pointless to sign to a label, especially a major label. And I know that now, especially signing as a small artist, right? But you asked if there's a perfect scenario in which you would, and that's like probably when your song's on radio, because that's when they are going to give you a lot of attention and throw a lot of money into stuff and push it to radio and like pay for that to get on radio. You know what I mean? But as far as just doing like a artist deal, not even just a single, like an artist deal, you're not going to get developed. Like you're not going to get developed as an artist, really. Sure. Like as a smaller artist going to a major, I signed to an independent label originally, and then they got bought by a major. It depends on who like your A&R is and who your team is. But at the end of the day, you know, it could be one way in the very beginning, but then if they're not seeing any progress in what's happening, like if you're still doing your same thing and working hard, but they come in and they try to escalate that, and whatever they do doesn't help you escalate, they kind of give up. You know, which is also kind of like, it's kind of weird because they kind of give up on themselves a little bit. Like they stop. Like I was doing my own like thing. I was very consistent in working even harder once I signed to a label, right? And I think that's something that people kind of mess up on once they sign, is they get signed and they think, oh, this is it.
Right.
Like I won, I made it, yeah. Right? But no, that's kind of like where kind of like the real work really has to begin, because you have more resources and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I understood that and I kept going, but you're only a priority for so long, and if stuff doesn't start popping off more than it was when they signed you.
That's cool that you say that, because obviously, like, I don't know, I speculate on that a lot, but I've never been in that position to know 100%, and I just always preach that, like, I do think that it could be beneficial if you do have, like you're saying, some mass amount of momentum, and they are good at, like, throwing fuel onto the fire should there be one. But, like, trends are just, virality in itself is something that, like, has to be so, like, extremely organic. It It can't be like,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's not something that can just be curated like out of thin air. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big misconception that they have, that just because they'll throw money at something, it's like people, for whatever reason, just humans as like a species, have such a good fucking nose for just bullshit and like being sold to, and things that are ingenuine. You can pick it up so quick. You just hate being sold to.
Bro, anytime anyone talks about a label, honestly, it's a cliche that just kind of annoys me. But everyone says, you know, labels they don't start fires, but they add fuel to fires, right? They add fuel to the fire. Okay, let's think about different types of fire fuel. There's lighter fluid. Where is it going? Yeah, this motherfucker loves the analogies. But no, there's lighter fluid. There's a receipt, a piece of receipt paper. There's gasoline.
Yeah.
There's hydrogen. Right? But what I'm saying is, okay, everyone talks about labels add fuel to the fire. Labels add fuel to the fire. What's the fucking fuel, bro?
Yeah.
Like something you could do something and something starts to pop off. They put a little piece of paper on it. They say we tried.
Yeah.
No, bro, you OS. You a label with you have the resources to be able to put some gasoline on this fire.
Yeah.
You do. I don't like get pissed off on my label at all, or like the labels for what happened to, because I was also in kind of a unique situation where I signed to a label that was independent, and then they got bought by a major label, and they combined it with another label that was major, and then I got slid over to that one, and that was right at the time when stuff started gaining momentum for me. You know what I mean? And so it was like a little messy situation. But I'm also not just speaking from personal experience, but experience that of like friends that I have, the people that I've talked to and everything like that. And I don't know. And maybe it's harder for people to actually add that sort of or like labels to add that sort of gasoline fuel rather than paper, because they invest in so many different artists, and because TikTok does most of the work for them, that all the fuel that they have to give really now, because they have so many artists, is just that little piece of paper, you know?
Yeah.
Like they can't give gasoline to every single moment anymore. And yeah, I don't know. It's so that's honestly why that saying just super annoys me so much. Is like when people, not you didn't.
No.
You know, you can never annoy me. But
Yeah, that's interesting.
but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's that cliche, because it sounds like, to me, when I hear that, I hear you're giving a label an excuse.
Also, I feel like they get a lot of the credit for adding fuel on the fire when they.
I was just gonna fucking ask it. I was gonna fucking say that shit.
The time when they thrive the most is in that period of something pops when you're independent, and then you have 100 days before you see your first checks. And like, if they are able to convince you to join in that amount of time, then technically they can take claim to being a part of the success in the first place, which nobody can distinguish whether it was the individual who started the fire and it was just already working.
But that's like the eye candy, is like when the gas is added, like no matter how much, that's like what makes you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of the time people don't understand, like, just to double down on that analogy, maybe like a lot of artists, and just because that's the thing that gets paid the most credit is that final like flick of a moment where it does become a thing. But people don't understand like that. I don't know. Some people are moving with just like little fucking grass shavings, and then other people are moving with like crazy firewood, you know what I mean? Like huge pieces of whatever the fuck. And a lot of the time people underestimate, I think, like how much or how easy it could be to get their own shit to like start burning, you know what I mean? But since the label can come in and just like add that quick just like flash of whatever it is, then a lot of the time I think, yeah, like you're saying, the credit gets misplaced when like people have these solid ass foundations, or you can just like take some time yourself and like go around collecting like good fucking firewood yourself, you know what I mean? And
Facts, yeah. Another cliche that's said in this industry a lot. Can you guess the cliche I'm thinking? Like what? Think about what people always say about labels. It's a cliche.
They're a bank.
Dude, what was that? They're a bank. Bro, another fucking excuse, bro. If a label's just a bank, I'm gonna go to a fucking bank.
they get a way crazier interest rate, like get a way better interest rate anyways.
Bro, it's like, damn, because whenever I hear that, I'm like, dude, let me find just an investor or something like that instead. Like, because I don't know. And it also, man, I just,
Go ahead.
it just sounds like, it sounds like an excuse to me to like an excuse as to why labels are doing things. Like, oh, they're just a bank. fuck do you mean a label is just a bank? What the fuck do they have an artist development side for it? Why do they have people hired on this and this if they're just something that pumps out money?
No.
Ratchet.
And it's like,
Ratchet.
bro, oh my God. It's just wild to me, man. It's wild to me.
I mean, all of their systems are completely changing. Like with the 200 or something people getting laid off from Warner and like multiple of these majors, I feel like
Clayton's about to get assassinated for whistleblowing. I'm just gonna find him, bro.
I feel like
doing
there's
it.
like elemental pieces that labels were built on a long time ago, and most of them had to do with the physical distribution of music and whatnot, like putting music on shelves and the whole manufacturing system behind that and all of the gate kept things that now all that's been knocked down, but you still have thousands and thousands of employees and therefore an entire system that is built on the back of that. And because they still have that income from the past successes, they have to keep up this system because they have thousands of people relying on their jobs on that system working.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be really slow for them trying to figure out how, like, because the foundation of their businesses are broken now.
Okay.
And only like a couple of those pillars still matter and exist. And so that's why with what we're doing, we're kind of restructuring the bases. Like, we don't have the top stuff. We don't have like radio pitching. We don't have whatever the fuck all the stuff at the top is. But we're like, okay, this foundational piece of the pyramid is so wrong with the way that they're doing it now. I see why they used to do it that way. Now we're doing it this way. And they can't change it because if they do that, then they have to restructure all this other crap. So that's why we can do this and they can't. And I don't know. I found that interesting to look at.
You know, the music industry has been changing since the music industry existed. I don't know what it was like to be in that. Like back then, back when we went from vinyl to, you went to the CDs or the cassettes, and then you went to CDs, and then you went to downloads, and then you went to streaming, right? And then how radio has been changed throughout the whole thing too. And it's like, obviously the industry is going to keep changing, but why does it feel like we know this? It's common knowledge. Everyone talks about it. There's books written about it. So why does it always feel like labels are always behind the curve with things? Like, why are they always, because of all the red tape? Like, don't you think somebody would have like figured out how to make it more fluid, like more dynamic, more modular, even like to change with the times? And I know there's a lot of people like I know that's like sometimes what A&Rs are supposed to do when it comes to like finding the new stuff. I'm not even talking about the new music per se. I'm talking about the new methods in which the music is perceived or like distributed or marketed, you know?
I think they're just like struggling to find the place. Like you're saying, it's so set up on it being monetized from like very physical like things, you know, selling CDs, like that used to be a big fucking thing. Somebody was paying every time like that they bought a record, like you're paying $12-15 like just to listen to that all the time. And so now like after everything's being restructured, they still like they need to find a way to fit in, and they're not going to do it by like taking less of a stake in it because they're so used to being able to dominate like a majority of like funds and whatnot from an artist and just like development in itself. And so we don't like need them anymore to do those things, but they're not willing to take a lower cut and like evolve to the new way that things are. So it's like a little bit of a stalemate almost.
I think one of the differences between the things that you were talking about with like the vinyl to cassette to CD and that era of things versus now is that was just a change in how the physical distribution was done, but now also the marketing channels have like all those gatekeepers have also been swept away. And so instead of in the past where you still required a marketing team and like very traditional methods of using the old entertainment industry model, which they also control because major labels are wings of major production studios, and so they control all those properties and everything. Now that system is failing too because of the democratization of all media. And so even the new aged things, because I think the way that they in the past were able to keep up with the times is they would just absorb into their family tree like subsidiary labels and whatnots that were kept up with the time. But now nobody's kept up with the time. Like we're about as cutting edge as it gets, and we're struggling to keep up with the times and figure out how to make it work and make stuff break and continue to do that.
We're changing shit daily. Like, we're not asking permission for anything. Like, we're moving as fast as you can to like adapt to these things, and it's
You don't have
hard to stay ahead of it.
Yeah.
And it's still hard to stay ahead.
Right. So, I mean, them absorbing somebody like us would be as close as they could get to keeping up with the times, and we're just too stubborn to be absorbed by that.
Humbly.
Get more red tape though. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And then we would probably fall behind the times.
Especially, dude, you know how long it's taken. Oh my God, maybe I could blame it on the merger of the labels, but like it takes people so long to get paid, you know. And I don't know. I just like people that work with me. They like hit me up and they get upset. Like at me. I mean, I don't know, but like I'm like, yo, yeah, they're supposed to pay you and they didn't yet, and it's taking forever. And
Yeah.
It's just so crazy because that's like the most official that business gets. You know what I
a
mean?
bank.
Yeah.
Well, what good is a bank if they
What are we
don't
doing
fucking
here?
let you?
Yeah.
They don't pay the people.
The Okay, now we're just shitting on labels.
No. I was about to say I want to say some positive. Yeah, but the second side to the coin,
Yeah.
if you will, right? But like we could, I don't know.
One more problem I got before we get into that. One more problem to just air out that I've noticed with a lot of conversations I've had, but nobody really talks about, is the over expenditure over like agreed upon advance amounts that don't get approved by different artists for unnecessary things, which then furthers the amount that they've spent. But since they're profiting off of like 80% and only recouping off of 20%, the label just makes more money profit wise because they're overexpending.
Now
I don't know, but
I will say some of that is going to be on an artist's team and their management, right? And it's very easy to do that to smaller artists because they might not have crazy like management that's always, or like even think to have their management do it. But like that's where like audits come into play, and then negotiations and lawyers come in and all that. But the other side of that is if you are on the label's ass that whole time, like counting every fucking dollar that they're trying to use,
I'll fuck with you.
it will take so long. Everything will take so, you'll never be able to release music. That's the downside to that sort of.
track it yourself.
Yes, because of all the red tape, man. And then at that point, it's like, and a lot of things in this industry is it, which is more important, right? The money or getting the music out to make money, you know, like it's like the money spent or the potential to make more money. And a lot of times, because a lot of people like music and make music and love music who are artists, they're gonna choose like to just be able to put their music out, right? Shelving an artist is the most powerful move, but also contradictory move that a label has, you know, because it's like, okay, they're not going to make you any more money, but at least you're not going to lose more on them, you know, but then their entire career is damaged. So you hold all the leverage because you have so much money anyways that it's like, all right, we could just take an L on this.
Yeah.
The other person's going to have to figure it out or walk away or do what the label wants just so they could release their music and then further their career. So that's a tactic, but also it's a business too. So that's like, no matter how a label works, like in what sense, that's just a tool that they have. You know what I'm saying? But I do think it is important to acknowledge the good parts about the label. And I think the good parts, so when I'm shitting on the labels, I'm shitting on the whole concept of them and everything themselves, right? But when you look at the good parts of it, that's pretty much dependent on the people that you are working with. If I think about my A&R compared to any of my friends' A&Rs, right? Bro, this guy would call me every day. He would call me every single day, even if there wasn't anything going on, just keeping up with stuff, always asking about music, new music, working with my publisher and everything like that to make stuff happen, right? Try to wiggle me in places and stuff. And yeah, it was like, I know how lucky I was to have an A&R that actually cared that much, because a lot of A&Rs are just like, all right, they have a million artists, they'll just have one, and it's like a miniature version of just the type of attention that labels give to small artists anyways, right? Whoever's on the lower on their roster for an A&R, they get the least amount of attention. But for me, I was the lowest on this guy's, and I still got a lot of attention. There's points where I was the lowest. And then also my project manager, right? Even when I moved over to Elektra, like maybe I didn't like the fact that I signed with one label and now all of a sudden I'm on a different one, right? But once that happened too, it's like I was able to work with like some cool people, you know, people that cared, people that stuck around, people that even after I left the label, they were still calling me, they were still interested in the music. And that's the cool thing about the music industry that I just love in general, is that it's a people industry. Like from the core in itself, it's just like music. Like that's just an art form that you could connect with other people. And also, depending on how you do it, more than any other art form, right? Maybe like, I don't know about movies and stuff, but like music, like, man, you could really touch somebody's life with that. And then when you think about the industry behind it, dude, one conversation with somebody, one connection, one friendship, this one meeting on the side of the street, right? Interaction like that could change the entire game too. You know, yeah, you can meet some fake people with bad intentions, but you got to meet those people in order to meet the people that really fuck with this industry and really like, and even like can fuck with your music, or you just in general. Somebody might not even like your music, but they just like you. They're like, all right, whatever. Yeah. You know, like, and I think that I was luckier than a lot of other small artists because I was able to, you know, be surrounded by a lot of great people in this label system. Like there's no sort of like, I can't name one name that I have any sort of like salt for, you know? I think the biggest saltiness I have is about just the business side, or the whole industry as a whole, like the major label system, or also my specific situation of from one label combining with another one, splitting apart. It's like that was just confusing in and of itself, you know what I'm saying? But dude, the people is where you'll find good in everything.
I've always said to Pert when we talk about it, it's a lot of good people caught in a system that's broken and they're trying to figure it out right now. Because everybody, like you've said too already in this podcast, like these people know it's broken. Like everybody talks about it. Everybody that you talk to is like, yes, it's broken, but it's always gone.
Labels.
Right. Everyone at the labels, everyone that you talk to, even the higher ups at the labels admit that it's broken, and nobody knows the solution to it. They're trying to figure it out. So
people would be telling me like, I like got the vibe before I even left the label. The vibe was, you should run. That was the vibe, man.
yeah.
I mean, for a second, I mean, it came from truth, but also like it was easier for them to say you should leave than we'll shelve you or make you leave, because I know they wouldn't really want to do that, but wouldn't have any other choice, you know? It is from the highest up in the label, you know what I mean?
How crazy.
Just saying like, yo, you should.
You care about your career. Like,
So, okay, this is a pretty good segue into the next question for us here. So when you were first signing, and also, I mean, that was only about 2 years ago, I'd say now, right? So when you're first signing, and also artists who are now in that position that you were in then, what kind of conversations were you having that made you want to sign in the first place? Do you feel as though those conversations that you had were at all misleading? Were they, like, looking back on them, are you frustrated with like how that went, or are you glad that you went through the system?
so I was about to take a distribution deal with AWOL before. So wait, I signed to 300 Entertainment, and then it got bought by Warner, merged with Elektra, and then I went back to 300 at the very end. And before that, I was about to sign to this distribution company named AWOL, and basically, distributors aren't the same as labels. They are really just a bank that puts out your music. At that point, that's really what they do. They have a certain amount of money. That's all you get. Figure out how to use it, right? And then we'll put the music out and pitch it for you, you know? So basically, I was gonna do that. I had cool conversations with those people over there, but then the day before I was about to sign that, my manager's like, yo, someone from 300 wants to talk to you. They want to have a meeting. I'm like, okay. I was like, it's a whole label? I mean, I'll entertain it. Like, I'm not gonna shut anything down like that. And then I take this meeting. It was like a Zoom meeting because it was still COVID. And I saw it was like 10 people that called, like so many people. I did not think it was about to be this many people. And they were all like talking about my music, like saying this song and this song they liked, and they liked this part of my vibe. And they gave me stories about like how they like found me, and how, you know, my main A&R saw me from before and then recognized me again once the Dream thing happened because of my goofy, like Birkenstock weird photo shoot picture that was on my Spotify at the time. No offense to your shoes though. I like them.
You can't offend the shoes.
No, yeah. Those,
see me
that's what I was wearing them.
You see me?
Yeah. That's, I don't know if the cameras can, but it's basically the chanclas, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I was like, that's really cool. You know, I FaceTimed one of the like newer A&Rs there too, just to talk to them and like meet them, and I was so excited, you know, and that excitement kind of trumped anything else. I would have questions I would ask my manager, but you know, at the time my manager wouldn't be able to know every single piece of the deal, because that's what the lawyers figure out a lot of times, and then that also takes a lot of time. And maybe I was just impulsive, right? Or I didn't know what red flags to look for, or like there are different red flags now. But my biggest thing is I could read as many books, but I wasn't going to be able to fully understand what everything meant. I wasn't going to be able to fully get like how something would be recouped, you know, what could change in short form to long form contract, how long that would take, how like certain clauses that we use as tactics to fight other clauses that they had, all of the legal side of stuff, you know. And if I guess a good question would be, you know, if I were to go back with the knowledge that I have right now, would I do it? I would say no, because I think the biggest thing that I got from being on a label was knowledge. You know what I mean? So like there would be no point to me going back and really and doing that. You know what I mean? So I will say I definitely got stuff from it. But I think the biggest thing I got from it was knowledge and knowledge of the industry and you know, knowledge of where to focus my energy, myself, you know, and what to expect from other people that I work with.
And really fucking tight that, I mean, it's, what's 2 years in the grand scheme? You know what I mean? Yeah. Some people are locked into 5, 10, you know what I mean? Or however much. Yeah. And even then, like, I mean, you had a couple fucking slappers that obviously you put out underneath them, but now, like, I mean, no album underneath them, yeah? So, like, now you're coming out, dropping, like, an album independently, and after this, bro, like, I mean, that snowball is just exponential for you.
Oh, a big thing that changed during that time too was just how I saw music. When I was younger, I wanted to make music just to be cool, right? I wanted people to like me. I wanted to like, honestly, like fit in by standing out in a way. I don't think that's a great intention, you know, like you're not going to get very far if all you want to do is look cool, you know? You can enjoy making music, but if the reason you put it out is that. But things started changing when I started, you know, really putting my heart into music that I made and seeing the result back, which was like people actually like being emotionally affected by it, like it changing their life to some extent, even if it's in a small way, but you know, big enough for them to still reach out and tell me about it, right? And then once I realized that, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna start putting out music, not because I want to be cool. At that point, I didn't give a fuck. I just wanted to like be able to touch people's lives, right? And that was around the same time I like signed to the label. So it was already like a weird metamorphosis going on then, but now 2 years into the label thing and now finally coming out of it, I guess there was like I also gained kind of a resentment for the industry and not even just the industry, but just the artistry, right? Of music nowadays. And now, you know, I also have the intention of I want to change the way that music sounds. You know, like I want to kind of push the boundaries on music. I want to like combine the genres. I want to not sound like anybody else, and I want to just keep pushing it forward. Which I never really cared about before. I was like, dude, I'll stick here and make songs that can emotionally touch people, but I'll just stay in my lane. But now I want to fucking make a lane. You know what I mean? And
how much more fulfilling too, bro. Like, yes, it is so cool. You just feel like, yeah, dude, we're literally just superheroes, not like just you and me, but people in general. Like, yeah, that evolution is such a beautiful thing, bro. That's so cool. I'm so happy you just said that.
And well, yeah, and it does kind of feel like being a superhero sometimes, just because you could touch somebody. You know what I mean? And so the reason why I brought that up, right, is because you know you were talking about now I get to actually put out an album, and I think the album actually is a lot different than anything I've ever like. It's self-produced, right, about like 90%. And it's also different than anything I've ever put out in the past. And also people from the label were not excited about it towards the end, because I kind of think they were just not excited about me. And that is like a big relief being off of a label, right? Is because now the stuff that I see as different, or like the first step in me making different stuff, is also like I can own it all the way. And now I don't have anybody that doesn't necessarily believe in it. Like I was talking to people at the label, they're like, yo, we are like, I love this album as a PmBata fan, right? But as a, you know, whatever they are,
Yeah, whatever you're saying,
you know, I don't see a hit.
But
And
it's a fuck.
and that's what I'm saying. I started thinking, I'm like, bro, do I give a fuck about that actually?
Yeah.
Like y'all, they kept trying to make me give a fuck about making a hit.
Yeah.
Bro, all I care about is being able to like make the fans happy, give them new things. And if I get a new PmBata fan, cool. And figuring out how to keep them happy, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like it's like
The definition of building like the foundation, bro. That's crazy. And if you were to just seek after hits and like something that would play well on radio, like it just is of no substance. Like you said, like party songs and like the club hits are cool, but like it can only take you so far. It's not house music, like in the sense of something that would buy you a house, buy your kids a house. Like in order to do that, you really have to connect with people and give somebody something to believe in that's like larger than themselves. You know, that's what people are looking for. People like just want a story like that to kind of fantasize like their own reality, I guess. I think what you were saying is a really great segue into my next question. You were talking about like with this album dipping into a lot of self-production, which is super fucking sick, and really just like can't say enough of how inspiring that is. Of just I love people who bet on themselves, who are doubling down on themselves, and here you are saying, okay, I want to evolve that sound. How do I do that? I'd probably be easiest if I just did it myself, you know? And like, and so, and another thing that I obviously really, really admire about you is just, you're a tinkerer, bro. You're real Tony Stark for sure. So like, even if you don't know how to get something done, you're going to spend the time and not like treat it as a hobby, but like you'll sit there all fucking day until it gets figured out, you know, until you understand how it works, until you know how you can recreate it yourself. And I really admire that. And so I guess my question is, what do you think is like one of the biggest, I don't know if I'd want to say like myths, but just like, what do you think is the biggest misconception about starting to take on something like that yourself, in terms of like producing? You're doing a lot of the engineering, the mastering, like all of that stuff, and being really involved on that side. And then on the flip coin of the misconception, what do you think has been the most challenging part of like really diving into that, like sinking your teeth into it?
Well, if you're like starting from ground zero and you know nothing, right? There's definitely a lot to learn, you know? There definitely is. But I think the thing that really kept me going and pushing through a lot of it is just passion. So if you really like something, it will work out eventually. And I guess, speaking on misconceptions, right? I guess nobody thinks that it would be easy, right? But it's probably not as hard as somebody would think.
Damn, nice.
You know,
Yeah,
like
it's cool.
Like someone
said that.
Nobody, I don't think anyone is just saying, oh, that should be easy, bro, especially if they've never made music before.
Right.
But it's not impossible. Like, it's not impossible to learn production. It's just about how much you love doing it. And I think a big thing, I guess this is advice at this point, it's you got to put expectations on yourself, right? But you can't be upset if you don't meet those expectations. Like it's all about the journey, right? If your end goal is to make maybe you want to make a song, maybe you want to be at a stadium, you know, performing, you know, you want to be one of the biggest artists in the world, right? Okay, if you didn't get it this year, are you gonna quit? If you didn't get it next year, are you gonna quit? Whether you're on a label or independent, the next year, 3 years in, are you gonna quit? And it's a legit question. Maybe somebody will. Most people will do.
Sure.
Right? And because they might think it's impossible, right? Eventually that happens.
But if that's
it's not about if you're improving, bro.
Right.
It's about the journey.
Yeah, exactly. That can't be your standard. You got to create just because you love to do it.
It's about having great expectations, but also accepting where you are. You know, not being necessarily satisfied with where you are, but just acknowledging and being like, yep, not there yet.
Sure.
But emphasis on yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
And just to maybe play devil's advocate on that, because I mean, I can't say enough how much I agree, but I think there's also something to be said about not kidding yourself also. And so like really putting those expectations, being okay with it, but being able to very like seriously critically evaluate yourself.
That sort of awareness.
Yeah, and not to where you're like picking apart micro aspects to where it's like affecting how you feel about yourself or how you feel about the art that you're making, but just being really honest and just, did I put everything that I could into this? Am I doing like, you know, XYZ, and the answer is no. At the end of the day, obviously stuff has to change or those expectations will never be met. Yeah. But yeah, I really liked what you said about that too.
Game time.
I got a fart, but like I think I might shit. Yeah, dude. Yeah. All right, here we go, Bray.
It's your coffee sponsor right now.
Yeah, that was a peach Bellini for real, dude. Holy fucking shit. Let's go, dude. Oh, that's gonna waft. My fault, fellas. My fault. Here we go. Say that on good enough.
What is going on?
That's right. We're ready. We're
Podcast over.
Let's go.
This is a game called Inflation Frustration.
Dude, you're the best. This is so awesome, bro. I get horny for these games.
So I've collected a couple of everyday items. You guys have to guess what the average price of those items are in the US.
Nice. Okay, bet.
So we're going to go one by one.
One by
then
one.
Whoever's the closest gets the point or something?
Yes.
I'm pretty out of touch with how much things cost nowadays. Just have my assistant grab it.
What is the average US price of a concert ticket?
Oh, damn.
Because there's so many different kinds of artists.
We're talking before or after the fucking Ticketmaster.
Right, that's what I was
I think this is including fees.
including fees.
Yes. $35.
Okay.
$40.
$40. I'm done. $40. $40. $50. It's $50 and I'm done. That's it.
$29.99.
No, dude. After fees, are you serious?
Are you serious?
How much you charge for your concert?
10 beans, but there's no fees. And I
Yep.
feel my concert's getting factored into this number. Nobody hit me about the census for this. So I think this is a much more legitimate thing, bro. So if it's going through Ticketmaster, dude, it's not gonna be less than 25 because their fees alone are like 20.
I'm so
Is this only Ticketmaster?
Of this question, and that's the official census.
I'm thinking he Googled average price of a concert ticket in the U.S.
Most definitely. The gentleman listening. What else?
50 beans.
Bro.
Like, I don't think this is like a
Does this include like Coachella and Lollapalooza in like VIP tickets and all those kinds of things?
$29.99.
No way.
$45. You said 40?
I said it.
You said 50? And you said 20. So I'm in between the two. 45.
The average US price of a concert ticket in 2023 is $94.83. You're forgetting about how much the Taylor Swifts of the world and how many tickets they're selling. Swaying it.
That's true.
Swaying it.
Oh, the amount of tickets. I'm thinking like
bro.
each artist sold one ticket and averaged it out.
Yeah. Now these are just overall like how much people are paying.
Damn.
What is the average price of a bottle of wine?
Oh, for me, shit, $5.
$16.
$29.99.
Dude, what?
Do you not notice everywhere you go, everything's fucking $30? $29.99.
$20 flat.
Okay, so there's some really expensive bottles of wine out there for sure. There's like
I feel
$1,000.
I feel as though the
wine.
cheaper wines.
I sold more.
But what about like restaurants that are buying in
this
bulk?
is the Taylor Swift analogy reversed.
Reverse. So you think that there's way more?
There's less people getting the expensive ones.
$35 again, I think. Is that what I said last time?
You said 5.
40. Oh, bro, 35.
The average price of a bottle of wine in the US is $13.36.
What's you got it again, right? Damn. All right, so it's 2-0.
Yeah, dude, I kind of eat these games. Dude. I'm guessing the fucking food. I've won 3 weeks in a row.
What is the average price of a check at Chili's?
Dude, well, they do the 2 for 20, I think, right? Or that's Applebee's.
$18.
This is in the United States.
After tip?
McLean says $18.
After tip, he's saying.
It is? I don't do that shit.
You don't tip?
Fuck, I didn't know. I was fucking. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
This is after tip?
If I'm at a coffee shop,
I changed mine to $22.
if I'm at a coffee shop though, hold up. What do you guys do? Like, if you're at a coffee shop, like you just order one like real quick,
Yeah.
or like literally anywhere, right?
I custom, and then I do like 50 cents or something like that. I'm not doing like the $2 option.
I do no tip.
Sometimes I'll notes off with it. If I'm at one of those assembly line restaurants,
Yeah.
and then throwing it on, I'm cool.
Triple bro.
What's that? You spent 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Ask me how my day is. Maybe toss me a drink. We'll talk.
And what I mean is like they say do the tip thing, bro. I'll be looking at them like,
No, I'll be getting nervous, bro. I'll just like do the tip. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
no. I was at a drive-thru in Starbucks, and we're driving, and like she literally says, "Do you want to add a tip to your order?" And then looks at me in the face like for a second before she hands me the thing, like she's holding it.
You like scumbag piece of shit.
And I look at her like, no. And I'm like, put my hand out. I'm like, bro, that pissed me off. That sort of confrontation when I just wanted to pay the price for my coffee.
Yeah.
Now, if we're at a restaurant, I see that differently. Like someone giving me like
Right, yeah.
that sort of service.
You gotta spend long. I gotta spend longer than 5 minutes in your brain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You have to be acquainted. I gotta spend longer than 5 minutes of you paying attention to me for me to
My tip.
like that.
I think about you daily.
All right, so
Gotta do it.
I'll give you a different tip later. What?
acquaintance 72%.
I don't remember what the fuck. Oh, Chili's? Chili's in the United States. I'm guessing like what, $8 to $12 for a single meal plus 6.
Bro, I'm fucking out of it. Dude, $8 for a meal at Chili's?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a soup?
Dude, you got some crackhead, bro. You think $8? You're just running you 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say 15.
Do you think everywhere in the world is LA?
Also, dude, I think everybody's getting a burger, and I don't know if you're ever finding $8. Here's what I'm saying.
I can see a 12 being the case.
I'm gonna say 20
West.
I'm gonna say $26 after tip.
And you said 22?
I said 20.
21.
Okay.
Oh my god. How am I getting
The average check at a
$25.
The average check at a Chili's is $14.31.
I fucking told y'all, man. You at a different place in the fucking country than Arizona or fucking California.
How about they had a crazy comeback though? It's 2 to 1 is.
Tell me a fact about Iowa. That's what I fucking thought.
People live in Iowa. I think it's going to
In the capital.
Dude, it doesn't exist.
Des Moines.
Des Moines. Yeah, I knew that. I know.
All right, 2 to 1 is 0.
Now we have a little power hour that's specific to LA.
Is it potatoes? I know.
Hour? Is that what you said? Okay.
I'm sorry, Iowa. I didn't read it.
That's all right. Oh,
The next 3 questions are LA specific.
okay.
Yeah.
LA specific?
Yes.
What is power?
I only been here 2 years.
I just wanted to give it a cool name. Let's give me this. Let's give me this, dude. Come on.
Okay, I'm ready.
What is the average price for a 1-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles in 2023?
I'm guessing it's just
$1,800.
I'm saying my answer after McLean goes.
A 1-bedroom apartment. I'm gonna say 2K. I swear to fucking you, sandwich me again.
2100.
No way, bro. This should be illegal. We shouldn't switch up the order of this shit.
The average price for a 1-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles is $2,400.
I hate getting sandwiched.
That's really
If they win both of these next
Glendale?
ones in order to not lose this.
Yeah, and I have bonus questions too, in case you tie it. All right, what is the average price of a burger, fries, and a soda in Los Angeles?
$20, $21, $21. $20. There's a lot of cheap burgers and fries if you get them. Like, I don't like the burger on 20. The fries on the side. No, that's too high. 15.
15?
Yeah, I think is that too low?
No, you're good. No. I think you know what? If you said 15, say lock it in.
He's gonna go
17.
I knew it. I knew he was gonna go that.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say 23.
Damn. I'm gonna go $16.99.
I'm gonna say 22 now.
What the fuck was that?
The fuck was
Wait.
They're fucking sneakers. That's no.
Oh, like a bee landed on you or some shit.
No, it sound like you.
Fucker scared.
Hell nah, bro. You scared me, bro. Only one sneeze too. That's how you could have spread that out over 2 like a normal person, but you said I'm gonna build it up, bro. You edged that shit, bro. Oh my god.
Oh
Other shit. What's
All right, who was right?
the average price of a burger, fries, and a soda in Los Angeles is $14.59. That goes to McLean. Think about In-N-Out.
Let's go. Let's go. It's all about that volume.
I think about In-N-Out every day.
I mean, McDonald's has served over
And
1 billion
McDonald's.
burgers.
Yeah,
Crazy.
It's the Taylor Swift effect. All right, so McLean couldn't tie it with this next one.
Let's go.
Let's get to one. What was the average amount spent on a Los Angeles Dodgers ticket in 2023?
$30. $40. $50. $60.
Sean.
$55. $60.
I'll say 69.
$59.99.
How?
He's a genius, bro. This is time to get
You
it.
said what? I said 60, 59,
What is it?
and you said 69?
The average price of a Los Angeles Dodgers ticket is $50.19.
Damn.
So that goes to McLean. So now he's tied in.
Oh. Yes.
So we're
All tied.
Whoever's furthest off on this one loses.
I have one bonus question.
So whoever's furthest away on this team.
We should all have to like put our answer on our phone and like show it at the same time or something. So there's
Alright,
nobody
so there's
can
no-
say it.
Yeah, there's no sandwiching.
Yeah.
What is the average amount spent on a watermelon in 2023?
Okay, I have mine. I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
Locked in, loaded, baby.
All right, cool.
We'll start with Pert.
5 gazpachos. 5 beans.
Mine is 714.
Mine was $3.50.
Wow.
We have to use some math this sure.
The average price of a U.S. watermelon is $6.90.
Damn it! So McLean loses.
Yeah.
All right, how should we punish McLean then, guys? What would you guys like to do to him?
He has to paint his toenails
Paint my
a
toenail.
color of our choice. Because this man walks around barefoot everywhere, bro. You don't believe
Does
it.
anybody have nail polish? Coming out the other side of this deal now, has it been difficult readjusting to being independent? Are there things that you forgot you would have to do?
Yeah. Should I elaborate?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. No, I mean, there's definitely some things that are different. I've been kind of like thinking about, I always have ideas. It's not like there's never a time where I just chilled the fuck out and didn't do anything. So I've always been thinking about that. I've had an independent mindset for the longest time. But it is different now actually having to put some structure into my life. You know what I mean? More than usual, because a lot of structure was built into the label, you know? But now I have to figure out how to organize. It's just basically the hardest thing is organizing my life now. Because especially as a musician or doing this as your career, you got to build that structure. It's not like a regular job where you go to work at this time on these days and you get paid on this day. It's like you have to build that structure. I mean, as an artist, you are building a brand, you are building a company, right? And even if you're the only employee at that company, so you have to be the one to figure out the structure. And that has been the most difficult part so far, being independent. It'll probably start working itself out a little bit once I see what works more than others. I mean, it's basically the same shit as what you guys are doing, just on a just a PmBata level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's my answer to that last question. How do you like your toes? I'll tell you how much I like them.
Yeah, how much do you like them? You want to get down there and kiss them?
No.
And that is all for today's Oh,
I'm trying to get your 10 digits.
and that is all for today's Yes. Parker, take us home. I'll say something to end.
We're at home right now. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming to the A&A podcast. Dude, I got an album coming out. It's called Astronaut Boy. You'll see.
You'll see. All right. Thanks for coming.
All right.
Peace.